Sky Squad, we're back in the building and we got to talk some reality TV news. Okay, so first things first. Did y'all like that premiere episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta? I did. And you know, Marlo has been on the promotional trail, so she's got some things to say about not only Sheree Whitfield's man, but also Porsha's relationship. So we're going to get into that. And then just a bit of tea from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We've got some interesting news about who Garcelle is feuding with this season. And I'm a little bit shocked, but I did hear about this, I think, early into filming, and I did not believe it was true. So we're going to get into that as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Plenty of times I'm on YouTube watching videos by people that I absolutely love, and I forget to subscribe. So if you guys would hit that subscribe button, it would be great. And you can also send me a text message at the number down below, 202-918-3386, and I will add you to the texting community so that you can receive a text notification every time a new video drops. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this jamboree. We got to start off with Marlo and Sheree, okay? So exactly what's going on here? Well, Marlo Hampton tells Page Six that Sheree Whitfield's ex or current, depending on which outlet you speak with, is a jerk and she can do better. Okay. Now, in this interview with Page Six, she says, I definitely don't want Sheree with him. She can do much better, because she became upset when Tyrone stood Sheree Whitfield up on a date as the Bravo cameras were rolling for season 14 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She said he's a jerk. Okay? Like, who does that? I was so pissed. I was done with him after that. When he stood her up, I'm like, oh no, forget him. Don't forget who the heck you are. Now, we know that Tyrone was sentenced to 10 years in prison for wire fraud in October 2013. He and his lawyer were convicted of stealing more than $5 million from investors, including a scheme involving a purported investment in U.S. Treasury strips. Okay. But now, you know, Tyrone ended up going to the halfway house in Philadelphia, where he reportedly reunited with Sheree. And I'm assuming, was that virtually? Was that, and I'm still confused about how the halfway house works when it comes to visits, if they can be conjugal. And we had already heard that he had stood her up because we had saw photos of her in Philadelphia after the ladies had left New York while they were filming. And we had also heard that he had requested that Bravo not include his likeness in any of their footage up to that point. Well, up to at least a certain point, I believe. Now, we see Sheree in the trailer, you know, sitting at a restaurant, and she's telling a friend over FaceTime, you know, Tyrone hasn't shown up. What does it mean when you call someone and it rings and it goes busy and the person says you're blocked? Okay. So, because of all that, Marlo believes that Sheree needs a confident and strong man, and one who has a good sense of humor, because she has her guards up as well, because she's such a tough woman. She definitely has to have a strong guy that can still turn into a teddy bear to show her a softer side. Now, for me, I was thinking to myself, like, how was he going to show up anyway? Because he was in the halfway house. But again, I don't know how these things work. So some people were saying in the chat that you can go out and about up into a certain point in time, but I just don't know about that. So we will have to find out as the season progresses how exactly that was supposed to work, because I have a lot of questions. And if you have answers, write them down in the chatterization down below. Now let's go on to what Marlo had to say about Porsha. Okay. Now, this was hilarious, okay? If you happen, and I wanted to touch on this yesterday, but there was so much happening yesterday. You know, we had so many things to do and so many things to discuss that I just didn't get around to chatting about this. But, you know, Marlo was on Watch What Happens Live the night of the premiere, okay? And she spoke on Porsha Williams' relationship because a fan called in. Well, the person asked, well, how long do you think Portia's relationship will last? And do you think it will go the distance? And Marlo's response was basically, well, as long as his money is running long, she'll stay with him. Okay. Um Listen, I mean, l- listen, I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but I'm definitely saying she ain't gonna talk to no broke Negro. Okay. Um, and maybe that's the smartest play in life. I don't really know. What do you guys think? Was Marlo being a hater, or was Marlo being just a concerned friend with regards to Sheree? And do you guys think that she's right about what she said about Porsha and Simon, and exactly how long Porsha would stick around in that situation if that money were to run out? Let me know in the chatterization down below. Okay. We got to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay. So we know that the premiere is coming up next week, I believe. So it's literally right around the corner. So we should start getting some previews for the show. But a lot of the ladies have been doing interviews on Tamara and Teddy's Two T's and a Pod podcast. Last week we had Kyle, Lisa Rinna, and I think we had Erica Jane on. This week we have Crystal Kung Minkoff on, and they were asking who her biggest drama is with. And she says, I would say my biggest drama is Garcelle. And when she said that, I was like, what? Now, again, I had heard this back at the start of filming, but I was like, I don't believe that. Like, why would that happen? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me because they ended on such a good note. But you never know how things go when filming starts, right? So she says they are in a good place now after going through their drama. And this is coming from Reality Blurb. So I will put the link in the description down below as well. She says, I feel like we had to go through that. She had questions, which Garcelle is good for asking questions. And she felt like this season she didn't hold back on the show because she felt comfortable and open with her castmates. She says, I think people really don't get to know who I am. And then once I get through that, I really open up and have fun. Okay. So she also goes on to talk about her beef with Erica Jane that we saw in the trailer, while Erica was saying that it's cool to support the victims, and I don't give an F about anybody but me. And Crystal says, it is cool to support the victims. I don't know if she's ever apologized for saying that, but it's interesting because that wasn't about me. She says that was an attack on me. I never took it that way, but in this situation, I'm not scared. That's how I feel. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, one of the people that Crystal talks about that she's actually the closest to is Sheree Zampino. Okay. She says, I really love Sheree. I really like Sheree. And I actually talked to Sutton Strack a lot. She says, I think I have a good relationship with everybody. I got together with Sheree for dinner, and then I see Sutton sometimes. I'm gonna go see Garcelle, and I went on a trip with Lisa Rinna after the season wrapped, but she never posted about it. So it does sound like she is in a good place with everyone, and she is going to have a couple of bumps in the road with Garcelle, which I'm not surprised because, listen, if Garcelle shows up the way that I think she's going to show up, she's going to be asking a lot of people a lot of questions. And it may not go over too well with some people, okay? But I am glad to hear that her and Crystal are in a better place because I really like the two of them. And I like that the two of them had a friendship, and I hope that it continues on as the episodes continue. But we will just have to wait and see how things play out because, as you know, things get stirred up again once the episode airs and then again during the reunion. So be on the lookout for what happens there. That's all the news that we have for you guys right now. Make sure you guys keep it locked to the channel, and I will catch you in the next video.